It is certainly one of those days where multiple videos could be made about multiple different topics. We clearly need to check out the Gulf of Mexico and the possibility of a hurricane next week. And also, once again, the Andaman Sea buoy is in activation mode, triggered 2 times in the past 2 days. Here we go again. We also need to take a look at a very interesting meteor sighting from a few days ago, with one of these views showing something very, very strange going on in the background. I will certainly need your help figuring this one out, but it's now time to take a look at each of these situations individually, and we're gonna do it right here, right now. Let's go. Alright everybody, welcome back. May 16th, 2022, and we're going to start with the Gulf of Mexico because this storm has been showing its face and the possibility of happening, with all different versions of this storm coming through the Panhandle, maybe clipping southern Florida, and now we have a view of it making contact with Florida, then exiting out into the Atlantic Ocean, only to then shoot back west into the Carolinas. Alright, so I'm going to take manual control here of the most updated data we have for this storm. Now, there's been multiple versions of what this storm might do, and again, I can't stress enough, there is no guarantee that this storm will take place. We are still 7 days away from it just even becoming a low pressure system down here by the gap between Cancun, Mexico and Cuba. But nonetheless, every single run we've had over the last week has shown this storm forming in one way or another. So for the time being, we're not going to get into too much about how this storm is going to get into the Carolinas, or if it's going to clip Florida, or the atmospheric conditions that will control this storm if it does form at all, only because we're a little far away from that being a responsible thing to do. We could get many different runs over the next few days that put this storm in many different places. Just like I said, over the past 4 to 5 days, we've had this storm coming right through the Panhandle. We've had it coming up and sitting in the Gulf and hitting Texas. But the common denominator here is that we are constantly seeing this storm form one way or another, which, as you can see on your screen now, would be Tropical Storm or Hurricane Alex. And the reason this makes sense is because this time of year, early in the season, even before that June 1st date, most of our storms do form in this part of the Gulf. So it is super important to constantly be updated on this data as we move into those dates like the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of May, where we may see that storm beginning to form in the Gulf and then make educated guesses on where it might go. Nonetheless, it's still a bit scary to see hurricanes already forming in the month of May. We're only 2 weeks into the month of May, and we could be looking at a double hit hurricane of Hurricane Alex in southern Florida and then the Carolinas. All right, moving right along, and now I want to talk about this meteor that's not only weird because of its shape, but also because of a phenomena or something weird, an anomaly caught in the sky in one of these videos that was on American Meteor Society. Credit going to Robin Gillette, who filmed this video or captured this video with this weird, strange phenomena in the background. Now, we're going to take a look at this in a few different ways, but as you can see very clearly, there is some sort of object back there moving. I have the video sped up about 2.5 times in order to capture the movement. That's why you're seeing the meteor go by so quick, and I just happened to notice this thing floating around in the background. It doesn't seem like it's any sort of bug. It's showing too much light for that. I don't know what would be sitting in the sky that would be picked up by this nighttime camera that literally seems to be moving around and morphing around the screen. Now, I will absolutely link this in the description box, but now you're watching it in real time. It's a little bit slower, but you can see that this thing is really moving. Once you bring it up to 2.5 speed, you can really see it's wiggling around and moving all over the sky. But even with this speed normal, you can definitely see movement of this thing. Now, your guess is as good as mine. Could this be a bug just floating around? I find that hard to believe. It just looks too anomalous for it to be any sort of insect or bird. Birds don't really move in that way. They don't kind of hover and float around and zig and zag. It's just a very interesting capture within an amazing capture of a meteor. I would love to hear your opinions and ideas of what this might be down below, and thank you, Robin Gillette, for submitting the video. And very quickly, you're going to be looking at another angle of this meteor submitted by Sam Barada on American Meteor Society, where we could see these 2 clear pieces of this meteor. It's always very cool when you get to see multiple pieces of them traveling together. Just another brilliant view of this meteor. And finally, another very cool angle submitted by Dawn Canonico. This thing looks like it has a laser in front of it as it's passing through the trees. You can see here as the video begins again, maybe just a strange light refraction as it's passing behind the trees, but then we watch it fade away, that nice green color color in multiple pieces. Once again, just an amazing shot. Awesome job to Don Canonico. And last but not least, my friends, once again, we are looking at the activated buoy in the Andaman Sea. We've been covering this for weeks now. It was actually shut off for a couple days. Now it's back on, and it has been already triggered twice in the last 2 days without a single earthquake to speak of. As we once again take a live look at this buoy, you can clearly see it is pulsing. It is in activation mode. Again, if we go ahead and click the data, we can see right off the bat there were 2 triggers. One just after the 14th going into the 15th. We could see right here a pretty drastic dip with this buoy. And then it went back into its normal tide levels, it seems. And then once again, just after the 16th, we get another drop, triggering it for a second time. So each time they are triggered, they stay in activation mode for 24 hours. If you guys look at your screen now, this buoy was absolutely off the charts a few weeks ago, showing us signatures that made us believe that the ground was swelling, and that's still very possible. Not only that, but we had a buoy down by Australia that was also showing some very, very significant changes. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't believe too much in coincidences, and for both of these buoys to be in this general part of the world and to be constantly going into an event mode without any explanation whatsoever is the main reason why I'm going to continue covering this on the channel, especially after that Tonga underwater volcano. I'm not saying that's what this may be, but the last thing we want is to be caught by surprise. It's important to study all these areas and keep an eye on all these charts, and that's exactly what I'm going to continue to do. All right, my friends, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I will bring you any updates needed, especially for this hurricane situation in the Gulf. I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas about what we're seeing in the skies while this meteor crossed the United States into Canada just a few days ago. Just some unbelievable stuff we are seeing in the skies. Not to mention, we just had a blood moon and an eclipse in the same night. I have some footage of that I'll be putting together for you guys in another video. But until then, my friends, shout out to Canada. Please utilize that comment section and talk about what we are looking at. All right, my friends, that's all we got. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.